Hi everyone, this is UFO and ECS Fargate demo. In this video, I'm going to show you how to deploy to ECS Fargate with a tool called UFO that I wrote. So in this tutorial, I'm going to focus specifically on Fargate. Here is the documentation to how to deploy to Fargate. It's going to clone a demo project called demo UFO and then run a couple commands, and that will pretty much get you on ECS Fargate. So let's go ahead and jump through some of these commands here. So this cloning this demo project, and this demo project is a Sinatra project, and I'll go over the code in a little bit. But for now, let's just kind of get going on the commands. Cd into demo here, and then now run this init command. And this init command here, you want to specify your own ECS execution row ARN. That's just an example there. To find that, you go to your IMA console and look for ECS task execution row. Now, if you don't have that row, which might be likely you don't have that row yet, if you're doing Fargate for the first time here, or ECS for the first time, then you have to go create it. And there's a link to that on the same page, and that link goes to the AWS documentation that gives you a step-by-step guide of exactly how to create that. Once you create that, then you can go back and you could plug in, then you run this command. So what does this UFO init command do? It just generates a bunch of starter files. These files are required by UFO, and it allows you pretty much to control how you define your task definition and settings of UFO, so then you could either create different types of load balancers and all sorts of other things. Okay, so there's more information and help information about all this. So you can just run UFO init-h for help, or you could actually go to the CLI reference documentation, which is down right here. So I'll open that up. Go to CFO init right there, and then there's some helpful documentation, hopefully helpful documentation there. So, okay, so it created a bunch of files, and then it also gave you some instructions here to deploy. And basically, the first command says current. That just sets the current service, so you don't have to keep on typing over and over. And then you have to run UFO ship. So that's pretty much it. That will deploy this Fargate now. This to deploy the Docker image now to ECS Fargate. So UFO ship does three things. The first thing it does is it builds the Docker image, and then it pushes that Docker image into a Docker registry, which happens to be in this case Docker Hub. And then the second thing it does is it generates ECS task definitions, and then it registers those ECS task definitions to ECS. Then the third thing it does is it updates the ECS service or deploys the ECS service. So that's what it's kind of doing right now. So let's kind of go look at these commands or the output here. See, right here, it talks about how it built the Docker image and took 2 seconds. That's because I previously built this, so I had a cache Docker layers. And then pushed the Docker image right there. And then, like I said, it registered the task definition. And then it deployed, it's deploying the application now. And you'll notice here that what it does is it generates a CloudFormation stack, and then it updates the CloudFormation stack. So it's basically launching CloudFormation stack to deploy the ECS service here. So that's going to take some time. So we'll use this as an opportunity to look at some of that source code on this demo app. So the demo app source code is right here. Here's the Docker file. It starts off from a Ruby 2.51 container from a Docker Hub here. Then it adds the app code, and then it adds the gem file, and then it bundles install to install the dependencies, and then it exposes the default Sinatra port there, and then it runs the bin web. So what's bin web? Let's take a look. Bin web here is just a wrapper command that calls Ruby hi. So what's Ruby hi? Ruby hi.rb. So Ruby hi.rb is a simple Sinatra app. That's the Sinatra app I've been talking about. It basically just returns the output 42, which is the meaning of life there. So that's pretty much it for the Sinatra app, and hopefully that at least gives you an understanding of what we're deploying here. And let's go back and take a look at this. Now, updating the CloudFormation stack takes some time because it actually waits for the load balancer to be created, waits for a couple other resources to be created, as well as the ECS service to stabilize. So that's going to take some time. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this video right here so we don't have to wait for it. All right, so the ECS service has finished deploying. It took about 4 minutes and 19 seconds in this case. And let's go take a look at what actually happened. So the CloudFormation console is useful for this. I'm just looking at the stack that I created. It created a stack called development-demo-web. And it created these resources. It created an ECS service. It created a couple security groups. It created a load balancer, a security group rule here, a load balancer listener, and a load balancer target group. So it created all that. And here are the events tabs here. And let's see. Let's actually look at the ECS service at the ECS console here. So here's the ECS console under the development cluster. And here's the service it created. You click on that. And you can see that here's the task that's running, and you can see it's a Fargate task. You see the events here, and there it is. So that's what happened. There's a pretty useful command, UFO PS. You run that command, it'll actually tell you also what some information that's pretty useful. It tells you the service name, the prettier one, and then also the full service name that actually created by CloudFormation. It tells you the running and desired count there, launch type, and you'll notice it also tells you the ELB load balancer if it was actually created, and then you can actually use that to test the app too, and it tells you all the processes. So let's actually use this ELB load balancer to do a quick curl test. So this should print out 42, the meaning of life. That's Arsenal trap there. All right, and another command I'm going to show you here is UFO scale, and let's just scale this to, I don't know, 5 containers. So there is the UFO scale command. And what that's going to do is, if you go, let's go UFO PS, you're going to see that there should be a couple of containers that are pending or in provisioning state. Well, it's going to take a little time. It takes a little time for a Fargate to instantiate those containers, but it happens pretty quickly. It should happen in about a minute or so here. So, but you can see that the desired count now is 5. And the running count now is still 1 because Fargate hasn't finished provisioning the instances yet. Let's run it again. Let's see where it's at now. And it is now all pending. So it's getting closer. Not quite there yet, but let's give it a little bit more time. And let's take a look at it again. You can also see it on the console, right? You don't have to use PS here. You can use it on tasks here. Then you can see pending over here, and you can refresh here also. Same thing. It's all Fargate tasks right there. You can see also events here. Events, it says started 4 tasks. Let's go back to here, and let's run it one more time. And let's, or a couple more times until it's basically running. So there, it's showing that 3 tasks have been running a couple seconds ago here. And 2 tasks are still pending, so those 2 slow guys are just catching up. Let's see how it does now. Let's run it again. And it says running 5.5, so everything is starting now. So like that, we spun up more containers, and pretty much AWS manages the ECS container instances for you. So here we don't actually have to manage any servers. You can launch as many pretty much containers as you want, and that's pretty much it. Let's see, go back here. There's a couple other things I would like to show you. So here are all the CloudFormation resources here that I created. So let's actually look at where they are on the EC2 console. Let's go EC2 console. Let's go look at load balancers. Here's the load balancer that UFO created. Let's look at the listeners. It created a listener on port 80 there, and it created a target group. So the target group, let's take a look at that. And then click on targets here, and you can see there's 5 healthy running containers right now that is actually managed by Fargate. And let's see what else is kind of interesting here. One more interesting thing is details on the ECS service. You'll see a security group here. So this security group was actually created and is managed by UFO. This security group basically is associated with the ECS task, and this actually only works on the AWS VPC network mode, because in AWS VPC network mode, UFO actually has control of the security group assigned to the ECS task. In bridge mode, the default mode, UFO doesn't have control of that. That's like the container instance that you have to manage there. So you have to set up those security groups yourself there. But in this case, it sets up a security group and it sets an inbound rule that basically whitelists the security group that's associated with the application load balancer in this case. So let's go take a look at the application load balancer. You'll see that that also has another security group that the CloudFormation stack spun up there. And here it is right here. And that security group also automatically, it makes sense that opens for you the port 80. So then we could talk to it, right? So this is why we could actually curl it, right? And let's see, the last command here I wanted to demonstrate was we went through PS, we went through a couple curl commands, was destroy. So destroy is like we're just going to clean up our resources here. We're going to basically, just like that, we're going to destroy everything. So if you're about to destroy the demo web service in the development cluster, yes, I'm sure. And you click yes, and all that really does is it deletes the CloudFormation stack. And now it's just going through that process of deleting the stack. You can kind of check out here too in the CloudFormation and your console, and you refresh it here. You'll see delete in progress. So right now it's going to delete all these resources and then we'll be done. It's nice and clean. All right, so hopefully you've enjoyed that video. Hopefully you like it. If you did, like it and subscribe to this channel if you want to see more videos like this. Thanks so much, guys, for your time. Cheers.